Good morning, everybody. It is December 3rd, 2025. Can't believe here we are, heading down to the final days of December with two of my favorite friends here from Wall Street Beats. We've got David Maris, Charlie Peabody. Although Charlie is showing us up with his outfit today, so I do feel like a little underdressed with it is a nice sweater hoodie, but it is a hoodie nonetheless. We were having an interesting conversation before we got here on live, Charlie, about the fact that things were working for you until recently. So you're just kind of stopping out, you're tapping out
I
here, metaphorically. So I think that that is interesting for people because sometimes it's not about what you're doing, it's about what you're not doing. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that decision and why, an investor or trader might do something like that.
Sure. Well, I mean, part of it is I've had a phenomenal year, and I don't want to
Right.
give it all back, but
Right.
that
I'm glad that you you must be working with a really good therapist. You have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean that felt like it spanned
Bold.
finance as well. It was like finance and everything else. I've had a
Yeah, I've
fantastic
just
year.
had I'm amazing. No, I'm just kidding. No, props for props go. You've had a good year. So okay, we'll keep going.
listen, go back and read my writings. I did
No, I believe you.
a special on
Yeah.
silver. I did a special on platinum. I did anyway.
We're
I'll leave
not
that.
doubt. By the way, no one's doubting you. It's more the way you said it. It was like so
Yeah, it
nice.
was like
It was like
it was very
solid.
sure.
Well, put it this way: when you're in December, if you're up 50% on the year, what's another 1% going to do for your portfolio? I mean, it's um, so the point is that I probably started too early getting defensive and I started taking some profits in September. I tried to get negative in October, November. And honestly, for the last month and a half, I haven't made any money on any of my trades by being negative. I listen to the market. The market tells me I'm out of sync, and honestly, when you're out of sync, there's time to pull back and just go to the sidelines and come back in the new year. And that's kind of where
Yeah.
my head is at right now. I'm clearly out of sync with the market. I've been too negative. This market has been much more resilient than I anticipated. And one of the mistakes I started making post the October earnings was, trying to short some of the big, large cap financials. That didn't hasn't worked at all.
Right.
Um, what seems to be, just to give some fundamental background on the big money center banks. I mean, they're trading two multiples higher than the regional banks, and so I started to try and play that long regional short money center banks, and it didn't
Right.
work. And
Yeah.
and what the buy side seems to be saying is, we think the money center banks are a beneficiary of continued robust capital markets. Number one. Number two, deregulation, because the relief that you're going to get on capital ratios is going to largely accrue to the money center banks.
Mhm.
Um, and three, a re-rating as they all raise their ROTCE targets, towards 17,
Yeah.
18%, from, low to mid-teen rates. So that, I understand the momentum going into the new year. I was of the opinion that that would be sort of your peak somewhere in the new year. The first quarter, first half
Okay.
would be peak revenues for these money center banks. And the question became, what are you going to pay for that? And
Yeah.
I thought people would stop paying up for it, but that clearly I've been wrong. So um,
So
the
which is
thing,
short now or no? You're like, "No, I could see this
no,
running still."
I literally am just shutting down and just saying,
Okay.
okay, let the markets do what the markets are going to do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. When I get into the new year, there are a number of things that I'm trying to think through. And the first is we're seeing sort of a steepening of the yield curve, and the question is what is driving that? And there are some good things and there's some bad things potentially behind that steepening of the yield curve. And I'm talking about the spread
Mhm.
between twos and tens, but even between 3 months and 5 year. Um, so there are three or four things that I have in my head that could be causing this steepening of the yield curve, because it's the widest, on twos tens, it's the widest spread we've seen since September of this year. Um, the first is I think that Trump desperately needs to pursue reflationary policies. He has to stimulate this economy um, ahead of the midterms because he can't afford to lose Congress. There are consequences to that, which I won't go into because he gets into political considerations, and I
Okay.
don't bring up politics here. But I think he does have to pursue populist reflationist policies. The
Okay.
the the needle that he has to thread there is how do you do that and not raise inflationary expectations.
Hmm.
And so, on the other side of that, he's probably going to pursue, or his administration's going to pursue some kind of yield curve control to keep the long end down.
Yeah.
But the fears of a reflationary populist type of stimulative, policies next year could be behind the long end starting to act, a little more differently than you know, easing would. Second is
Yeah.
it's clear now that I shouldn't say it's clear. We all believe that Hassett is going to be, put in as the Fed chair, and
Right.
Hassett, there's no question he has the academic credentials to be a Fed chair, but we all believe he's just a puppet and he's going to pursue whatever easy monetary policies Trump wants.
Right.
And that may be another reason that the long end is selling off or starting to act, less robustly.
Yeah.
Then we have the carry trade. We all believe that the BOJ is going to raise rates on the 19th of December, and the unwinding of the carry trade could have implications for U.S. Treasuries as well.
Yeah.
And then finally, we have the December 10th, we have the FOMC, and while 2 weeks ago I was on the show and said, I just don't see why they would cut rates. Again, the market has spoken, and the market's always right.
Yeah.
And then you get what, a 90% chance of a rate cut. That persists through Friday, then it's clear they're going to cut rates. The only thing that
Okay.
would disrupt that expectation is if Nick Timmeros of the Wall Street Journal was to come out with some article, expressing doubt. Because he's the mouthpiece for Powell. But the other mouthpiece for Powell came out a week ago Friday, and that's Williams of the New York Fed, and said, a cut is back on the table. And that's when we literally went from 30% odds of a cut to 90% odds of a cut. So,
Yeah.
those are all things I'm thinking about. Obviously, in January, we get into earnings and rates. There are still, the things that concern me. There's still credit stresses out there where we see that every day, particularly in private credit and private equity, the mismarking of portfolios. There's still some funding stresses, but they seem to be more technical in nature than fundamental.
Yeah.
In other words, you get these spikes in repo financing around holidays like Thanksgiving or around month end, but then they come off as they have today. So those are some things. I think the last thing I'll mention, then I'll shut up, is we've got the Supreme Court decision on tariffs, and
Yes.
that has some implications for monetary policy because Bessent has been running with a very high TGA account um, and Treasury General account. It's over 900 billion or around 900 billion. Um, you know, and I'm wondering if that's because he's fearful that he has to rebate, tariffs. And
Yes.
if he does,
Yep.
that is going to be draw down the TGA account, which he then has to rebuild by year end. And if he's trying to rebuild that TGA account, at the end of the year when we're into the holiday period, it would be a drain of liquidity just at the time that funding and liquidity dries up. So there are hurdles that I've been worried about. They just haven't caused any dislocations in the market. So
Yeah.
that's why I've
So
been.
let's play that out. Let's say the Supreme Court says, yeah, you can't do these tariffs, right? They'll obviously be looking for other ways to get them done, but that will take time.
Yeah.
Um, how does the market react in terms of risk assets like equities as well as the curve? So does the long end pop up and the
It
short
should.
end stay low, or what happens here?
The long end should pop up because that has been a key source of paying down the deficit has been these
Yeah.
tariffs. And
So who's
so
going to do well? I mean, kind of walk people through this. So who's going to do well in that case, and who's not going to do well? Like, what do you
well,
want to be? How do you want to be
you,
positioned into that?
want to avoid long duration assets. Now,
That's right.
David has an industry that I think is considered a long duration asset. Tech is a long duration
Yeah.
asset. A mortgage is a long duration asset. So
Yeah.
that's what you have to think through. But on the other side of that, if Trump does pursue populist policies next year, housing has to be affordability in general, I should say, is
Yeah.
going to be
Has to
what
be.
he's going to attack, despite his comment the other day that saying, I don't know if you heard him, but he said affordability is a hoax, that the Democrats have put out there. Um, that's a dangerous, line for him to
Yeah.
pursue going into an election. But he does have to pursue policies that improve affordability, and
Yeah.
so yield curve control on the long end is probably one of them.
Yeah.
So
So shouldn't people not be in like zeros and stuff like that? Should they be kind of in the more, 1 to 7 year range until we have certainty? Or do you think it's already baked in that the tariffs are going to be ruled the like unconstitutional or whatever the ruling
I
is?
don't think the people have baked in anything on a Supreme Court
Yeah.
ruling. And if they have, they are probably discounting it by saying, well, he'll pursue other ways of collecting tariffs. So
Yeah.
I think at this point it's viewed in a benign light for the moment.
Okay.
Um, that's my gut feel.
Okay. But you think that would we see kind of like TLT zeros, those kind of things be selling off into into that kind of event?
If the Supreme Court rules against tariff, yes, I do
That's right.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the technicals. I mean, if you were to talk to a technician, they would say
Yeah.
that the 10-year has a free reign down to 360, 380. That's what a technician is telling me today.
Mm.
Is
Okay.
where 10-year technically looks like it's going to. But if there's something that comes out of the blue and we start breaking 410, 420 on the 10-year yield, I think we're going back to 470, 480.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
And how will
we're
financials
in
do
this.
in that situation? Will people get excited or people get worried?
I think people will get worried,
Yeah.
and then it comes down to the micro. Someone like a Bank America, which has this MBS portfolio that's been underwater and is weight on that stock.
Yeah.
Bank America has traded very well since their investor day,
Yeah.
but in that environment, it may trade less well. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's we're in a from me, and you guys
Yeah.
may have a clearer thoughts, but for me, I feel like things can go either way right now, and that's why I've sort of moved to the sideline. I had anticipated things going one way, they haven't, but the hurdles that I was anticipating are still out there,
Yeah.
and so I'm worried about those hurdles, but at the same time, I don't want to fight the market because the market's telling
Got
me
it.
I'm wrong.
Got it. Thank
So,
you. And
yeah.
David, how about you? What are you looking at today?
Well, right now I'm looking at the Einstein.energy website because that's what I was thinking of. I need a little boost right now. It's also
Okay.
our sponsor, but Einstein.energy, but
Are they
um,
sponsoring us today?
they are sponsoring us today. So
I
a
have
couple.
tried
I
the
actually like
you guys.
them.
They're
My
good.
kids
Yeah,
love
they're good.
them. I especially like the peanut butter one, the chocolate peanut butter one.
I
Yeah,
did the double chocolate.
You like that one? That one's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. I
How
agree.
about you, David?
I'm indiscriminate. I like them all. In fact, I gave one to my trainer, and she ate one right before, not literally right before, like an hour before a race this weekend, and she goes, it's actually a great it's not heavy, so
It's not
it's not
heavy. Yeah, that's my kids say that they like it's light because a lot of bars are too dense, and they like the fact that it's so light.
yeah, so something we can get behind. So looking at a few things, I do want to talk about a name that's not in my space at all. But first, we'll talk about healthcare. Healthcare continues to do really well.
Yeah.
The XLV is up a little bit today. The XBI is up a percentage point. So the outperformance continues. If there is uh, a Supreme Court decision against tariffs, I have to imagine that pharma does even better because that's been
Yeah.
the big, stick that Trump's been using to get some of these agreements, which is
Yeah.
if you don't, we'll tariff the heck out of you from overseas. And
Yeah.
so I think either way, it's like heads I win, tails you lose type of situation. Um, so I'm sticking with that XLV,
Okay.
XBI. I'm more into the XBI than the XLV. I mean, I own individual pharma stocks, so that takes me from the pharma um, XLV situation, index.
Yeah.
So um, and some of the stocks doing well today are things that I actually like a bit, but they're a little bit more speculative, like Soleno or EBS. We talked about a long time ago, kind of more speculative stocks than the larger names,
Uh-huh.
Amphastar, AMPH. But the one that I want to talk about today is called WeRide, and this is going to
Okay.
sound insane for someone who
Can't
does
wait.
healthcare, but I do a lot
Can't
of
wait.
other things other than healthcare. So WeRide is an autonomous driving company, one that you probably have not heard of. You've heard of
Yeah.
Uber working on it and all the others,
Yeah.
but so this one's actually already on the road in different countries, and so they're based in Guangzhou, China. They have offices in San Jose, Abu Dhabi, Singapore. They're
Yeah.
not very big. So although they're everywhere, they're not very big. I'm going to go through some of the what got me interested
Are
in
you
it
long?
was
You're long here, I'm
I'm
guessing.
long the stock, and the symbol is WRD. They have an ADR that trades very liquidly here, as well as they're listed in Hong Kong. What got me interested is the last quarter results. So I haven't been following this company other than seeing the last quarter results. So I don't have a long history with it.
Very
So take
short,
all of
very
that with a
short term
grain.
history. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, their revenue grew 144% to $24 million. So a low base, but it's growing tremendously. What I
Okay.
liked about it is that they actually have revenues from doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Which is
Okay.
they do robo taxis, robo vans. The robo vans are more like cargo type stuff.
Okay.
Taxi services grew 761% to $5 million. Percentages don't really matter on such a low base, but again, growing.
Okay.
Um, Gross margin went from let's see, from whatever 6% to 33%. They've narrowed their loss, and so now what's so interesting, they got a permit to operate in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
They're now licensed in 8 different countries. They have a driverless robo taxi permit for Switzerland in Zurich, which again,
Okay.
it sounds like, okay, Zurich, one tiny city in a tiny country. They'll say, if you're Swiss, you'd say,
Are
oh
you
no, it's
are
a
you telling
giant
them that?
city.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're Swiss, you're like, no, it's a giant city. Listen, it's a
Yeah.
tiny city in a tiny country.
Okay.
But the Swiss aren't known for being like crazy permitting company. Like, do whatever you
Right,
want in
right,
our
right.
country.
Yeah.
So,
Right. You have to be solid citizen over there.
yeah, they currently have a fleet of 1,600 vehicles operating. 750 of those are robo taxis. They're doing mini buses as well
Yeah.
as robo sweepers. So they just had a contract for 100 robo buses again in China. So home country, kind of discount that a little, of like why are they
Yeah.
getting that? Is it home country advantage or not?
Yeah.
So look, they seem to have a path to profitability,
Yeah.
and they seem like they certainly have enough cash. They're at like $750 million of cash, and no debt that's due anytime
Yeah.
soon. So um, I look at it and say 150% revenue growth, 100% revenue growth in a market that is gigantic.
Yeah.
You may have missed it if you try to play others, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try Tesla for that? And then you have to worry about the whole EV market rather than just this is a pure play for autonomous driving. So I
Okay.
put a flyer on, a little bit more than just a flyer, but not something that I'm gonna stay up at night worried about, but one that I think, well, if it continues to
What's the
grow like
ticker
this,
here?
WRD. If it continues to grow like this, then I'll have a nice compounder. If they get dominated by somebody else, well, then it was an expensive lesson to just
It's a
stay
nice
in
try.
healthcare.
It's a nice
Yeah,
try.
stay in healthcare. Don't ever leave. So.
All right. And so, what are you going to be watching for here? Like, like, how long will you hold this thing? What are you watching for?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I asked them. I said, "Look, I want to talk to you
Yeah.
about where can someone go to best see this in operation? Not that I would go, but I can hire someone to do that locally and try
Yeah.
it out, see how it's going. Because people are already doing that in Austin and San Francisco and other places where they can
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, I'm going to spend all day in these and see how they do." Um,
Yeah.
what I worry about with foreign companies, and I'm not going to say Chinese companies, but foreign companies, is that you're
Yeah.
not there. You can't see
Yes.
what's really going on the ground. And what sounds impressive as so and so ordered a whole bunch of things,
Yeah.
is it really, what's going on? Can I get one of these? If you're
Yeah.
operating in a city and I can't order it quickly, you'll never get traction. And
That's right.
so I'm not booking a flight to Abu Dhabi right now to go see if I can get
Why
one,
not?
but,
Just kidding.
uh
Find someone who is. Ask somebody there. Ask someone to do it. Clock it.
exactly, that's what's so great
Yeah.
about, today is that back, 20 years ago, it would be nearly impossible. You have to find that
Yeah.
now you can just go on TaskRabbit or anywhere else, Fiverr, and get somebody to do this for you and take
Can you get
documentation.
them to do it overseas or no?
Oh, yeah, 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 it's super easy. I
All
mean, you
right.
could put it on
All right.
X if you wanted to. You could put it and you
Okay.
just pay people. No, you have to remember that you're not doing it yourself, and
Yeah.
when you're not paying people a lot of money, sometimes they fake, "Well, oh, yeah, I did this." That's why you have to when I
Yeah.
said, "You have to document it. Take a picture of
Right.
yourself in this. I wanna
Yeah.
see.
Do a
You
video. That's
send
right.
me the video." Yeah. So it's an interesting project uh, outside my zone. But,
Okay.
I mean, if Charlie can do, edibles and,
That's right.
pot stocks, I don't mean do them, pot stocks, I said, cannabis stocks, then I can certainly do autonomous driving.
That's right.
You
Very
can see
good.
the you
And
can
for
see the laziness
healthcare,
of older Americans. We're doing cannabis stocks and autonomous driving.
and just AI, just you have to use the word AI somewhere. So question for you on healthcare. What should people be doing here?
Well,
What,
I like the
like
large cap
stick with it?
pharmas. I like the large cap pharmas and I like the XBI.
Okay.
I own XBI, but I also own a lot of individual biotech
Okay.
stocks that carries with it a different type of risk. One of my favorites, ZLAB, has done horribly recently.
Yeah.
I still think it's gonna be a great stock. It's done horribly. Um, you can't hide from these. Like on a show like ours, you could
Yeah.
hide on them, right? What I like is all of us don't hide. We're like, oh yeah, this didn't work out because we know that in an ideal world, you have more winners than losers, so you don't mind
Yeah.
mentioning the ones that don't go so well.
Yeah.
Um, but I also own a number of generic companies. I do think that's the least liked part of the market. I still own Teva. I still own Viatris. I own
That's
Amphastar,
right. Okay.
AMPH. I own Dr. Reddy's, a little bit of Dr. Reddy's, RDY, kind of a group of those. And I've recently bought some Japanese stocks, some of which are Japanese generic companies. One is I'll give you the numbers because I'll give you the
Yeah.
names and the numbers, but Sawai Group, which is 4887,
All right. I'm
and
gonna take a look at these things. Yeah.
Fuji Pharma 4554,
Yeah.
and Toa, which is actually 4553. Um,
Okay.
so kind of trying to diversify a little bit outside of the U.S. And get some Japanese exposure. I've talked before about how if we see a weakening dollar yen, which we haven't really seen that much of,
Yeah.
those should do well.
Nice. Um. So
I
what
bought a
else
bunch of
here?
Japanese stocks. I could totally bore you with all of them, but I'll tell you that my
Yeah. But
favorite one.
what'd you buy?
I,
What'd you
I'll
buy?
tell you, I bought like 20 of them for this
Okay.
theme
Okay.
of a potentially weakening. But I wanted to buy compounders as well
Okay.
as kind of staples companies. So the one that I do
Okay.
want to mention is Kewpie, and you
What
can
do they
all do
do?
you can all research this with me.
I can't
Kewpie
wait. Yeah.
Kewpie sells mayonnaise. I just am looking for their number here.
Okay. And is
Um,
that a GLP-1 friendly kind of thing? Like
no, it's
what's getting you
totally
excited about
it's
mayonnaise?
totally not. So, um, why can't I find this? Why is it?
We kind of need to know, don't we? Don't we here, Charlie?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, I'm looking for
While
the
while
I'm
you're
looking for
looking, just are you ready to go back, Dave? Sorry, I can.
2809. 2809. Um, so Kewpie sells a mayonnaise that's very different from a Hellman's, and it's number one in Japan. It's like it's the only mayonnaise you're going to find in Japan, really. Um, and it's everywhere. Like it's you know how when you get the Heinz ketchup packets at McDonald's and stuff, Kewpie is everywhere.
Okay.
They've decided to break into the U.S. Built a giant plant. I want to say it's in Ohio.
Okay.
Actually, I don't want to say it's Ohio. I think
Yeah.
it's in Ohio. Uh,
Okay.
and so, sure enough, you can get it at your local supermarket and try it out yourself. It is a little bit different, but you'll see that it complements food much better. You're gonna have
And
a
why is
sandwich.
that?
I don't know why. I think they use only yolks or something. It's not the healthiest thing for you.
And
So
what's the ticker on this thing?
I just told you. Now you're gonna make me have to
It was
look for it again
Kewpie.
here.
Sorry. No, I thought you
Two eight
mentioned the name.
two eight
Two.
two eight oh nine.
No,
Stick
you
with the
didn't tell us
game,
the number. You
Nadine.
gave us the name. I've been writing them all down. I had four eight
Okay.
eight seven 4554 4553. I did not get the 2809. All right.
Two eight
I'm
oh
gonna
nine.
try that on Mega Millions tonight.
Those are going to be your lottery ticket numbers. I want to go for. Or Charlie's going into the gas station soon. All right.
Yeah. I just looked. Unlike I was right. Unlike American mayo, which uses both egg yolks and whites,
Yeah.
QP uses only the yolks. so
So he's
so
going for the heart blaster. Like is that what it's
so
called?
so
I think so.
so if you haven't gotten your yolk consumption up as much as you should have,
Oh my
if you have
god.
low cholesterol and you're looking to boost cholesterol,
Do any Americans have low cholesterol? Could you let us know if this is really the market you're looking to tap?
okay, but remember, you're only
All right,
using a
so
little
forget
bit.
that number, guys. Forget
No,
2809. Okay.
2809 QP. It's going to be 10 years from now. You're going to be using QP on everything.
And you heard it here first. So that's it for us. We know that Charlie needs to get to the lottery station soon. Um,
He always dresses so nicely to get to the lottery.
he does, because he doesn't want people to think he needs the money. He just wants to
Yeah.
win and beat other people. That's really kind of the lesson that we've learned here today about Charlie Peabody, one of our dearest friends. So thank you so much for a fun
Hey,
time,
Nadine, one
Charlie
question for
Peabody.
you.
What's up? Yeah,
Nadine, quick question.
yeah.
If I wanted to see our chat, or I wanted to sign up for a subscription that I don't already get,
Oh
how would
yeah.
I do that?
I think what I would do is I would go, Wall Street Beats is the name of our show, in case you haven't figured that out. And we're powered by passes.com. So I would go to passes.com. I'd be looking us up and definitely be subscribing, because that's the most important thing. So you can get such rich information as we've had here today.
I certainly would.
Would you do anything
Yeah,
differently,
and
David?
and, and we're not yoking.
Oh
Oh,
no! Oh no! Oh no! Make it stop. Sorry if everybody if we caused you any kind of pain. If you do,
yeah.
you can tell Passes about it.
Dad
Have a
joke for the
wonderful
win.
day. Bye, David. Bye, Charlie. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks. Thanks, Jen.